Hi, this is Denise Mathew, and today I'm going to make these Pipa Knot earrings. I've seen this style of earring around before, and I thought I'd try it out. Instead of flat, I've made it three-dimensional, so it kind of curves up a little bit. I've also added a little pearl in the center. The trick with these earrings is to have wire that's extremely malleable, or also called dead soft, and also to practice as much as possible before you go on to a more expensive wire, because it does take some time to get it just right. But I think the results are worth the effort. So let's get started. I'm working with 14 inches of 18 gauge wire, but I wouldn't suggest using 18 gauge wire if it's very stiff. You could use a 20 gauge wire if you want as well. You're just going to start with a closed loop and just a couple wraps. And you want to make sure your wire is as straight as possible when you're working with it. I like to use a ring mandrel to help me shape the curves, but if you don't have that, you could use a wooden dowel or whatever you have on hand. So you're just going to wrap your wire around whatever you're using until the wire meets the loop. And if you've already made one earring, it's a good idea to compare the two so that you have the right size. And if your loop isn't straight, you can just straighten it with your pliers. Then you're going to take that wire and just wrap it under those wraps you made, and then bring it right around. Then you're going to make a smaller loop inside the one you just made. So if you notice, I just brought the wire across, but I didn't bring it right around to the other side. So now I'm just going to start to bend it and then use the mandrel just for a guide to make a smaller loop inside. Then you're going to bring the wire over, across, and then right underneath the last wire you wrapped. Then you're going to repeat this with smaller loops as many times as you want. Now, if you feel you can just do that with your fingers, you can manipulate the wire, then go ahead and do that. But I just like to have the mandrel because it gives me a perfect curve. And you can use your pliers to flatten the wraps if you want to. Then right around one more time. And feel free to adjust the wire as much as you like as you go along, and take as much time as you need to get it just right. I'm just going to do 4 loops, but if you want, you can do a lot more than that. But you just have to adjust the amount of wire you use so you have more. To finish it, you're just going to take your round nose pliers and you're just going to make a small loop just like you did before. So instead of wrapping it around your mandrel, you're wrapping it around your pliers. And you might need to do a few adjustments so that the loop is in the center of your earring. Then you're going to take that tail of wire right around as you did before, but then you're going to the top of your wraps and then wrap once or twice so it blends in with the wraps you've already made. Then you can trim your excess wire and tuck it in so there's no sharp edges. And if you want, you can press your pliers on the top of the wraps just to make them a little bit flatter. If you want, you can add a bead to the earring, or you can just leave it as it is. And here's the side view so you can see that it's got a little dimension to it. I'm going to add a 3mm pearl, so I just have a little head pin here, and I'm just going to make just a regular loop on it. So just a 90-degree angle, and then just loop your wire right over the pliers. Since I'm making an open loop, I'm just going to overlap the wire and then just trim back the excess. Then just attach it to the little loop in the center of your earring. Then just close your loop, and then you can add your ear wire. And that would be your completed earring. So that's all there is to it. I hope you liked it. If you did, please like, share, subscribe, and comment. We'll see you next time. Thanks for coming. Bye for now.